In this video, I want to discuss 11 home selling myths, and then I'm going to go ahead and debunk them for you. So we've all heard these myths about selling a home, and so let's talk about why they're not really accurate. So myth number one, going with the first buyer is rarely the best choice. Actually, the opposite is really true. So oftentimes people think, oh, well, the first offer is just us to get an idea where we're at, and then if we hold out, we'll get a better offer. Now, that's true if your first offer comes from an investor and you're not really selling a do-it-yourself, a DIY, a fixer-upper. Then you probably don't want to accept that first offer. But if your offer is from someone that's looking to move into the home as their primary residence, then oftentimes your first offer is actually your best offer, because this is someone who saw your home, likely scheduled a showing right away, and decided they liked it enough to put an offer in right away. So oftentimes, if they've got a strong desire to own your home, to purchase your home, then they are probably going to give you a pretty strong offer. And so that first offer you get oftentimes is actually one of the best offers you're going to get. Myth number two, wiggle room in pricing is essential for negotiation. And I hear this all the time when I sit down with clients and they're talking about what price we're going to list their home at. Well, I know it's only worth $275, but if I set the price at $279, then maybe I have a little wiggle room. No, it doesn't really work that way, because price is one of the factors that a buyer is going to use to determine whether they even come see your home. So our task, me as the realtor and you as the home seller, is to try to get as many people in the door as we can. That's how you're going to get your best offers. And obviously condition of your home is part of that, but part of that is the price. If somebody looks at the price of your home and says, nah, I can get this other home in the neighborhood that's pretty similar and I can get it for $5,000 less, there's no reason for them to come see your home. So price it at the price that you think it's going to sell at, and then you can kind of negotiate from there. But leaving yourself wiggle room actually probably hurts your home sale and probably is going to net you less for the home. Myth number three, listings sell themselves. So during the pandemic, this was really true. You got your home ready. We put pictures up, and then we waited for the phone calls from buyers. There were so many buyers out there, so few listings out there, that anything that got listed that was in halfway decent condition was gone within days, and there wasn't a ton of marketing needed. Nowadays, actually, it's very, very different. There's a lot of competition out there. There's not as many buyers out there, so we have to create the buzz around your home, either with the condition, with the pricing, or both, and certainly with the marketing. We have to get your home exposed to as many different channels as we can, so that we can attract as many buyers as we can. So marketing is more important than ever, and listings do not sell themselves. I don't care how nice your home is. If it's not getting exposed to a lot of people online, it's not going to sell in this market. Myth number four, your home should reflect your personality. That is 100% true when you're living in the home. But when you're looking to sell your home needs to reflect the market. It needs to reflect neutral tones. It needs to reflect something that a buyer could see themselves in. If a buyer walks in your home and sees you living there, it makes it a lot harder for them to see themselves living there. So unfortunately, the best thing to do is to remove as much of your personality from your home as possible. Certainly remove all of your personal family pictures and things like that. If you have some brightly colored rooms, maybe for the kids' bedrooms, maybe try to neutralize those a little bit. Those kinds of things that can be really important to help your home market and then sell more efficiently. Myth number 5, buyers prefer an HGTV style home remodel. You know, HGTV has certainly made real estate very popular. A lot of people like to watch those shows. Heck, my wife likes to watch those shows. But honestly, people, that's a myth. What you see on HGTV is not necessarily true. If you have an older home, while open floor plans still are popular, it is decreasing in popularity now. So if you have original features in your home, because it is a little older, people are starting to appreciate that more. There are buyers out there looking for a blank canvas that they can make the home their own. So again, going back to some of that neutral stuff earlier. So as a seller, you don't necessarily need to make things perfect for the next buyer. I've told this story before, but I had clients that were selling a very high-end home in Bartow, $700,000, which is way above the median price in Polk County, and certainly for Bartow. And they had some green Corian countertops in their kitchen. And it was a farmhouse style home, so actually it worked. And honestly, it was in great condition. It was green, and it wasn't granite or quartz. And they asked me whether or not it made sense to change out the countertops in their kitchen, and I told them no. They weren't going to get the return on investment. You know, if the countertops had been falling apart, that may have been different, but they weren't. They were in excellent condition. And the reality is, whatever they replaced it with wouldn't necessarily appeal to the next buyer. So they were better off leaving it. If it became an issue in showings, then we could offer some kind of a credit. But that was a better way to handle it than changing out to a modern granite or quartz countertop. Anyway, that's a good sort of story to talk about. You know, you don't have to make your home completely bereft of personality. It's just deciding what makes sense and what's going to give you the return on investment. Myth number 6, major renovations guarantee a return on investment. This is just simply not true. And it's almost never a dollar for dollar return on investment anyway. So for example, the most popular one is doing a kitchen remodel for $20,000. So you're going to have several months potentially, or at least weeks, where your kitchen's not usable. It's going to be a distraction for you. It's going to delay putting the home on the market. And most likely you're not going to receive a $20,000 return on investment. So now there are things that maybe do make sense to do, like if your roof is old and it's going to have a problem passing inspection or getting homeowners insurance, then it might make sense to go ahead and replace the roof. And even if it's not a dollar for dollar return on investment, you actually will see a lot of that back. Number 7, converting the garage into another dwelling unit that you could rent out increases your property value. Maybe not. It probably, again, is not going to get you the return on investment. So if you weren't using it as an accessory dwelling unit and you weren't renting it out, you're not able to show rental income, then your new buyer is taking the chance on that, and they may not be willing to pay a premium for that. Additionally, you got to make sure that you can do short-term rentals or rentals of those types of units in your community. There may be city restrictions, there may be county restrictions, there even may be HOA restrictions on the ability to do that. Myth number 8, getting pre-approved should happen after finding your perfect home. That is not true. You have to get pre-approved before you find your perfect home. Most sellers are not going to accept an offer without a pre-approval or proof of funds. And honestly, you might be shopping above your budget. So get your pre-approval, then start shopping. It has to happen in that order. Myth number 9, larger brokerage offer superior services. This can depend on the brokerage. All brokerages have a lot of tools. What comes down to it really is how is the agent using it. The agent is more important than the brokerage. Now I'm saying that, and I work with RE/MAX, which is the largest, most well-known real estate brand in the world. We have lots of great tools. I have lots of great connections. I have a international networking with real estate RE/MAX agents throughout the world. And so that certainly offers some advantages to you as a seller. But at the end of the day, if I'm not using whatever resources my brokerage provides, then I'm not going to be able to help you as much as your realtor. So it really comes down to the agent and more than anything. Myth number 10, still photos on the MLS are enough. This is definitely not true. I think it's important to have a 3D tour. You don't know where your buyer is coming from. They may not be able to come down and look at your home on the open house weekend or next weekend. They may be in New York or New Jersey and needing to buy here in Florida, and they may buy without ever stepping foot in the home. So 3D tours are really important. Drone, giving people an overhead view of the community can be important. So those are some things that are really important, and it really is more than just MLS photos. And honestly, if those MLS photos are taken with a cell phone, they're almost useless. They need to be high definition, professional photos that are taken. And myth number 11, open houses are a necessity for selling a home. This simply is not the case. You don't have to do an open house in order to get a home sold. The reality is that very few homes actually sell from an open house. I know a lot of us thought when the changes in the real estate industry happened in August of 2024 that a lot of buyers would not have an agent because they didn't want to sign a buyer's brokerage agreement with an agent, and therefore open houses would become more popular. The opposite seems to have been true. Because buyers got more educated, they learned the importance of having their own representation, their own agent, and so they signed buyer's brokerage agreements. And if you've got your own agent, why are you going to go to an open house when you could go get a private showing with your own agent? And so you don't necessarily have to be open to having open houses in order to get your home sold. As always, if you have questions about any of these myths and debunking them, please reach out to me. And if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell a home in Central Florida, please reach out to me. Remember, you can't miss with Chris. Have a great day, everybody.